The Grand Tour's here, the Grand Tour is here, the Grand Tour is finally here. But is it any good? Hello YouTube, Miller Corner here, welcome back once again, and as of midnight Friday just gone, it finally happened. We've been waiting for months, it's been teased, it's been rumoured, hinted at, we've seen trailers, there's been a lot of hype leading up to it, but it finally happened. The Grand Tour on Amazon Prime, Episode 1, finally released. That's right, Jeremy Clarkson, Richard Hammond and James May, former Top Gear hosts, brought us the first episode of their brand new Amazon Prime exclusive, at the time of recording, TV series. There's been a lot of hype leading up to this, and I for one have been extremely excited to see the first episode, and now I've finally seen it. But rather than giving you a kind of review of it, what I thought I'd do is give you my thoughts and feelings while watching the very first episode of Amazon Prime's The Grand Tour. When I first sat down to watch it, I was extremely excited. After all this time, all this waiting and all this hype, we were finally going to get to see Clarkson, Hammond and May back in action. My first feeling when watching the programme was one of relief and one of excitement. Without wishing to give anything away, the first episode starts with a sequence showing Clarkson leaving the BBC and flying over to America, where he's promptly joined by Hammond and May, and they then road trip out to the desert, where they're met by a massive crowd and hundreds of cars, new and old. When the trio are finally reunited on camera, it was brilliant, it was exciting, they all looked across and smiled at each other, and I think that some of us got quite emotional during that sequence. It was exciting to see, and what with all the cars flying around everywhere and the music and the excitement and the crowd cheering, it was hard not to get sucked into it. And what with how long we've been waiting for the first episode of the Grand Tour, to see what we can expect from these guys in the future just looks incredible. So the very first feeling I felt when watching it was pure, undiluted and wonderful excitement. The next feeling I had was one of comfort, of familiarity. When the first proper sequence of the show started, when they were comparing the hypercar Holy Trinity, it was like being back with an old friend. They were sliding cars around, they were having their banter that they normally do, they were comparing the cars, they were just having a laugh, and it was funny to watch and enjoyable for people who are and aren't interested in cars, which is what we like. The Grand Tour straight away felt like the Top Gear that we knew when the three of them were involved in it. So almost immediately the show went from being exciting to comforting to familiar. It was something enjoyable right from the get-go. However, those feelings were slightly put downhill for the next bit, when my next feeling was unsureness. When they showed us that they've got a new test track and how they're going to have a lap time board with a test driver with little to no character as far as we can tell, known as the American, and the fact that we're going to have a lap times board and we're going to be comparing them on there, that I wasn't too sure about, if I'm honest. It feels too much like they might be trying to be Top Gear again, and to be honest, it wasn't the most exciting element of the old show anyway, particularly when with the old show it was a track that we all came to know and love, and having to get to know a new track on the new show just seems a little bit odd. It wasn't something we needed, and obviously it's not something they can bring around with them. Their travelling tent studio they can bring to different backdrops around the world, whether they're in America, they're in Africa, they're in the UK, they're in Switzerland, they're in Germany, wherever they are, they can take it with them. The track they obviously can't, so they have to keep cutting back to the UK. It seems a bit pointless, if I'm honest with you. We'll see how it pans out in the future, but for now I just can't see much point in having the test track in there, particularly when, especially as I've said, they can't bring it around with them. The next feeling I had was unfortunately one of confusion. When they were talking up the Celebrity Brain Crash feature, which is going to be presumably their version of Star in a Reasonably Priced Car, they talked of this machine that would be able to test the mental agility of their celebrities, which I wasn't too excited for, if I'm honest. The bit that we can all agree on, that we all skipped over during previous Top Gear with these three guys on it, was the Star in a Reasonably Priced Car segment, because 95% of the time it wasn't enjoyable, it didn't have anything to do with cars, and they couldn't drive that well anyway, so even the lap wasn't that enjoyable to watch. And now they've taken the driving element out of it, and they're having to do some sort of mental mind game thing, which we didn't get to see anyway on the new show, because they then made a big thing of spending 5 or 6 minutes of the show killing celebrities, I think? I'm not too sure, to be honest with you. It seemed like 5 or 6 minutes of just filling up time just to meet a length. That bit felt kind of unnecessary. With any luck, they'll very quickly realise that we don't actually care about the celebrity bit, and they phase it out very quickly. We're there for Clarkson, Hammond and May. We're not there for a celebrity to plug their new movie show or book. However, that feeling of confusion, that feeling of unsureness, they were very quickly pushed to the side when we went back to the main bit, the Hypercar Holy Trinity test part 2. They were back at a track in Portugal, they were comparing the cars, they were doing lap time challenges, they were excited, they were having a bit of debate. This was what we were here to see. It was exciting, it was thrilling, I found it wonderfully enjoyable, and because obviously the vast majority of their crew have followed them over from Top Gear, it's worth noting that the cinematography is as gorgeous as you would expect, with some fantastic drone shots, some slow motion, some close-ups. It's everything you'd expect a show with this kind of crew to look like. It was everything we loved about when they were on Top Gear, but now with a fresh face, with an updated look. And I have to say, it was absolutely brilliant to watch. There's a few bits that are still questionable at this point. Celebrity Brain Crash is largely pointless, that American test driver is not very likeable, and I can't really see where they're going with having a track. Whatever you think of the show though, whether you think it was a rehash of an old design, or whether you think it was something fresh and something new, you cannot deny how enjoyable it was. It was fun, it was exciting, it made me smile almost constantly throughout, and I cannot tell you how good it felt to see them back on screen doing what they do best, and to see them with almost an unlimited budget doing basically whatever they want. Brilliant. I absolutely loved it. But my final feeling when the episode finished was one of anticipation. This first episode was a brilliant one to kick it off with, and we've got a bare minimum of 35 more episodes over the next 3 years that we're going to be able to watch. Moving to Amazon Prime, where you have to pay to watch it, might not have been the best decision from the audience's point of view, when a lot of people simply can't stretch to being able to pay for the subscription just to watch the show, but those of us that have watched the Grand Tour can agree that it is excellent on first impressions, and I for one am highly excited to see where they're going in the next 2 years. So those are my initial thoughts and feelings on the Grand Tour Series 1, Episode 1. I really hope you enjoyed the video, guys. If you liked it, don't forget to do that thing. If you didn't like it, do that thing. But whatever you do, don't forget to do that thing. Type down below. And I want to know your thoughts about the first episode of the Grand Tour. Did you like it? Did you hate it? What were your favourite bits? What did you not enjoy? What are you hoping they do with it in the future? Thanks so much for watching the video, guys. I really appreciate it. If you like the video, don't forget to click the subscribe button for more videos from me as soon as they're released. And I'll catch you very soon with some brand new videos. You have a brilliant rest of your day, and I'll see you soon. Have a good one. And yeah, as you've probably worked out, I am capable of wearing more than just check shirts with t-shirts underneath them. Got a jumper on now. Pretty nice.